This morning, we'll be starting off with some interesting Pitt news. The University of Pittsburgh's 18th Chancellor Patrick Gallagher will be stepping down next summer after 8 years in the position.
And we are honored to have Chancellor Gallagher with us live this morning. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
So, to start, what led to your decision to step down as Chancellor at the University of Pittsburgh?
Well, no one can be chancellor forever. So it was part of just making the announcement at a point in time where the Board of Trustees had the time to initiate a search where the information was kind of out there openly. And so it could be a meaningful transition for the university. So that's what led to the timing of the announcement.
And so up until this point, really, you have successfully navigated and currently are still navigating the university through COVID-19. Can you reflect on the challenges that the pandemic have presented and what your course of action has been?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting ride, right? Let's not do pandemics again. That would be my main advice.
Yes. Please.
I think the real challenge in the global pandemic was that it was global, right? Most incidents that you deal with, happen in a certain place over a certain period of time. And this was both open-ended and everywhere. And so it was all about the uncertainty. Nobody had a playbook really for doing this. And so the plan was really to go to sort of basic principles, keep everybody safe, try to follow the guidance from health officials, be adaptive and be flexible. And that's hard, right? As human beings, we like to know what's going to happen. And so I think the real challenge was maintaining that posture of sort of, we're learning as we go. And how do we continue to sort of adapt on the fly to something that none of us have experienced in our lifetime?
Yes, definitely. It's definitely thrown some challenges, but I think we've all handled it very well at Pittsburgh, so I'm very glad.
Did great.
Yes. And what was the most challenging aspect or situation of your time as Chancellor?
I think the biggest challenges have come from things that have tended to pull us apart. That's always the hardest thing. This is a community-based activity, being in a university. And so, whether it was, the trauma of the pandemic, Tree of Life, political, divisiveness, those are the things that are most difficult. And of course, conversely, I'm most proud when we come together to sort of respond to these things.
So the horrible massacre at the Tree of Life has affected, the Pitt community in a broad sense. Can you talk us through the challenges that day kind of brought in your role?
Well, that day was historic. I think it was one of those moments where I can still remember the sound of the sirens going by the residence that morning, and sort of at that time still not knowing what was happening. When an act of hate is that dramatic and that searing that the whole world stops to look at Pittsburgh and see what's happening. I think, the initial challenge was, healing and responding. But I think what I'm most amazed about is the way the Pitt community and the larger Pittsburgh community responded by coming together and showcasing our collective strength in the face of a solitary act of hate. And I think it's regrettable that we sort of don't tackle hate until it's happening. The real challenge is to prevent these things from getting to that point.
And what did it mean to you for Pitt to be strong for the Pittsburgh community?
Well, somebody once told me when I started this role that as Pitt goes, so goes Pittsburgh. Right. This university is kind of a heartbeat of this region, and we should be proud of that. And so I think it meant a lot that, that coming together, that visible, we're in this together and we're going to showcase our strengths versus, the things that divide us, set it was a role model for the whole region. And the world noticed.
Yeah.
So 9 years, really, it is a long time to be in one position. Throughout your time as Chancellor, what are you most proud of?
Well, it's funny, 9 years can go fast too. So it depends on where you're sitting. I would say what I'm most proud of is kind of why we're here. This is a place filled with amazing students, amazing faculty doing amazing things. And my proudest moments are kind of living vicariously through all of you. And so it's seeing the achievements of our students, and whether that's some big award or some big recognition, or the students marching across the stage at commencement, or our teams, winning championships, or our faculty doing amazing research that's changing the way we think about the world. Those are the moments that really stand out, that I'm most proud of.
Absolutely. And how did it feel to be tapped by President Obama to serve on the White House Commission for National Cybersecurity?
Well, I spent over 20 years in federal service, so I was asked to do a lot of things over that period of time. That one was interesting because it came after I left federal service and I was here at Pitt. The truth of the matter on that one is that I had been involved coming up with the idea to do that cybersecurity commission. So it wasn't too surprising when they turned around and then asked me to serve on it.
Absolutely.
But it was, anytime you're asked, it's a way of sort of giving back to your country and sort of contributing your talent, your time on a problem that's really important. In this case, of course, protecting our country from the threat of cyber attacks.
That's incredible. An incredible honor, too, to be able to work with them. And then lastly, what did this service opportunity with the National Cybersecurity Commission mean to you?
Well, like I said, it's really a chance to work with some of the leading experts across the whole country. That's always amazing, right? You're with an amazing group of people, but you know that you're working on something that's of critical importance. And that always kind of grabs your attention, right? The stakes are high, and it's a way of serving something that's bigger than us.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you coming out.
Enjoyed being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.